In this video, I'm going to cover something I've never seen any other barber or barbershop owner talk about before, but I think it's so important. And it's basically try to figure out how much are clients worth. The reason why you want to know this is because this is going to determine how you spend your marketing money, how you run your business. I mean, there's so many ways that you can use this information, and it's going to walk you through the math on how to figure out how much a client is worth so that you can figure out how your business is doing. And this is something that took me a long time to figure out. And now that I know this number, just like anything, once you know the number and you're able to track it, you can figure out exactly what you can do to improve it. So what we're trying to do is, in business terms, this is called lifetime value. So this is what the business world calls lifetime value. We're going to call it LTV for short. And to figure this out is actually pretty simple, but I'm going to define these things for you because a lot of barbers aren't tracking this stuff, unfortunately. And we're just going to walk through it step by step. So the formula to figure out your lifetime value is actually pretty simple, which is you take your churn and you divide it by your average. So that's basically it. That's how to calculate your lifetime value. Now I'm going to define for you guys what churn is and how do you calculate average ticket. But this is basically it. So I'll walk you through the math on our numbers so you can see what it looks like. So what is churn? Well, we like to focus on, as barbers, something called retention. So let's say our retention, our total client retention, and we divide it by new and existing, but this is the blended number. So our retention is for one of the months on our spreadsheet that I'm looking at. So our retention was 77.02%, which means out of all the clients that came to us in this month, we kept 77%. That's what we retained. But on the other side of that equation is our churn, which is if you take 100, which is if you retained 100% of your clients, and then you take out the retention percentage, that gives you your churn, which in this case is 22.98. So that's our churn percentage. So basically what that means is for every 100 clients that we saw, we kept 77 of them-ish, and we lost 23, we'll say. That's how that number works. So we lost 23 out of the 100 clients that we saw in this month. So that's this number. The next thing we need to do is figure out our average ticket. This one is pretty simple. And almost anybody, I think, can figure out this number, which is you just take your total sales and you divide it by the number of clients. That gives you your average ticket. So we're going to do this math together. And I may have put these in the wrong order, but you get the idea.
Hey, if you're finding this helpful and you want my help personalizing and applying this to your situation, then go to skool.com/barber-mastermind and join my community. It's full of other barbers and hairstylists that are looking to make more money just like you. Hope to see you there. Now back to the video.
So we got to take 22.98 and divide it by our average ticket, which according to this spreadsheet is $55.89. By the way, the lifetime value in barbershops is hilariously low, just because the average ticket is usually pretty low in barbershops. So our lifetime value for this 1 month, because we track it on a monthly basis. Yeah, so actually this number goes on top. Yep. So this number goes first. So the average ticket goes first. So we're going to take 55.89 divided by 0.2289. That gives us our average ticket. So according to this, our lifetime value is roughly $244. So what does that mean? That means that on average, somebody is going to spend $244 with us before they churn out, before they stop coming. Now, some people are going to be more, some people are going to be less, but if we're looking at the average for the total clients that ever come and see you, as long as these numbers stay the same, then that's what it'll be. So why is this important to know? because you can use this information to figure out how well your business is doing. And you can use it to also figure out your marketing. So for example, this is just the lifetime value. This is not profit, but let's say your profit is 50%. So $122. And that's what ends up paying the bills for the shop. After the barbers are paid, whatever, $122, that's what's left over. So then as long as you figure out, how do I get clients for less than that, ideally like way less, like a third of this number, then you can figure out how to run ads profitably. But if it's costing you more than $122 to get a new client, then you should need to figure out a different strategy. Okay. This is why in some cases it may make sense to give a free haircut on the first visit, because as long as it's costing you less than what you make off the client, then it's worth it, right? You make $122, you give them one free, $40 haircut, and they come back hopefully for life, hopefully for longer than this. But this is how you figure out how you can determine your marketing, your cost of acquisition, etc. And then now that you know this number and how to figure it out, now it's just a matter of determining, well, how do I make it better? And since there's only two variables in this equation, which is churn and average ticket, then there's only two ways to increase lifetime value. You can either get them to spend more, so increase your average ticket, or you can decrease your churn. So we can walk through both together to figure out which is going to be the better path. And it may change depending on where your business is at, but we can walk through example together. So this is with no change. If we just stayed where we're at, which we haven't, we've gotten better. If we just stayed with these numbers, this is what our lifetime value would be with nothing changing. But let's just say we raise our price and it goes up, our average ticket goes up by like $5, we'll say. So instead of 55, now we're at 60, now we're at 60.89. Churn stayed the same. So we didn't change anything about our churn. We're still losing 23 clients, but our average ticket went up because we raised our prices. So our new lifetime value is going to be $266.01, we'll say. So if we increase our average ticket by $5, we went from 55.89 to 60.89-ish, and our churn stayed the same, then our lifetime value goes up, which means now we can spend maybe a little bit more to acquire a client. So that's scenario one. Scenario two is we decrease churn. Before I go any further, what do you think is going to be the bigger number when you increase average ticket or you decrease churn? Well, I mean, we're about to find out, but let me know in the comments which one do you think is going to have the bigger effect on increasing lifetime value? Well, let's find out. So we're going to go back to our original average ticket number, which is $55.89. But we're going to say we decrease our churn by, just to say 5%. So we're going to take $22.89 minus 5. That means our churn is now a little less than 18%, which means we're keeping 82% of our clients. So let's see what effect that has on our lifetime value. So we're going to take the $55.89 and divide that by $17.89. Our lifetime value is now $312 and roughly 41 cents. So whoever guessed that decreasing churn by 5% was going to have a bigger impact than increasing average ticket by 5% was right. Good job. So in almost every case that I've seen, decreasing churn or increasing retention, however you want to think about it, almost always has a larger effect on lifetime value. Ultimately, it's a math problem. You can go through each scenario and you can also do both. Like, you don't have to pick. Like, you can raise your prices and figure out how to keep people coming back longer, which is basically what retention is. But getting people to come back longer is, it's almost $100 difference, but by just decreasing churn by 5%. Now, that's one less client that you need to get too, because you're just keeping the same people coming back. A lot of barbers like to focus on getting new clients. Well, we just walked through this exercise together, and the money is in figuring out, how do I stop clients from leaving? Decreasing your churn is going to be a lot more effective in making you money in the long term than just increasing your prices or just staying the same. So figuring out how to keep more of the clients coming back is going to usually put more money in your pocket. This is something that I've been focused on recently. You can make more money by just raising your prices, but I like to focus here because that's typically going to be the most bang for your buck. So I would figure out, me personally, I'm focused on decreasing churn. You can also increase your average ticket by doing retail, selling more retail, and offering other services, upselling, getting people to come back more frequently. But getting them to come back in the long term is where I would turn my attention if I was you, and what we're currently focused on. So hopefully you guys found that helpful, and just focus on how to keep more people and you'll make more money.